Well, I've got to put a couple of the saw projects on hold for a little bit. Got to do a couple of these tools. And this is aftermarket Husky crank, obviously. You can tell from that little slot. I'd never use it. And that's a reverse thread for the clutch side, so I've got some of those. But I'm going to make another couple of these. And these are like M14 by 1.25 reverse thread. And one of the things you got to remember is on the cranks that have the inboard clutches, you have to have enough over drill to where this part of the crankshaft can go in there after you've put that tool on, right? I want to have the tool get down and bottom right there. See where it bottoms out on the crank? So, but I've got a couple of these. I'm going to make a couple of more. Right now what I need to do is make some reverse thread M10s by 1s. See, this is a steel 660 pattern crank. So there's an M10 by 1 for the flywheel side. See that? And I've got these where the thread form is actually pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with that. Again, you want to make it bottom out. But seeing as you don't have to deal with this section right here on a crank on the flywheel side, I don't have to drill quite as deep, and it makes a little bit better thread form on the tap, right? This is my test crank for a Husqvarna 272 or 61 or 268 with that class of saw. Nope, this was a 266. But see, it still has that M10 by 1 thread on the flywheel side of the crank, right? The same thread that the steel pattern 660 crank has. Now I've got a bunch of these done, so I don't need to make any more. So you've got two Husqvarna pattern cranks. You've got the reverse thread M10 by 1, and then you also have a coarse thread one that's like a half 13 reverse thread. Now I've got taps for both, but let me go ahead and make up one of these reverse thread deals. So let me see if I got the tap. Nope, that's not the right tap. That's a standard thread. There's a reverse thread right here. So let me just go drill this one. Now again, this one here doesn't have to be crazy deep because the clutch is an external clutch, not an internal clutch. So we're just going to go in like maybe an inch. Make sure everything's out of the way. All right, let's see if we got a decent thread form. There we go. Nice tight thread form. It's good. That's what you need right there. not sure how much this is going to show, but I got first cut at the driveway, and we literally have feet of snow here, a couple of feet. It's a hell of a snow shovel right there. My neighbor had this out in the field, and took us a couple of days to hammer it out of the ground because, I mean, it came up with a wad of sod that was actually all the way out to here. You can hardly get the tractor moving. I need to thaw it out so this stuff here will drop off. There's got to be a half a ton of mud on the bottom of it froze in. And then try to figure out how to get it up and running, you know, loosen things up. It's got a hydraulic motor here, probably need some help. The chute. Got all the bearings. There's a gearbox in here somewhere that's going to need some grease. Well, I got a grease gun. Had to buy a new one because all mine are up on the hill. And I pulled the dipstick out of the gearbox. It doesn't really give me a clue. It looks to me like I need to put some gear oil in there. It's only been sitting for 20 years. Had to use a little bit of heat on that hole. Tapped at it, and then my little persuader. It always works. Got that freed up, or that actually begins to move.